The way it became an immersive musical was, first of all, I know a lot of musicians are going to fight with me about whether it's a musical or not. It's got 7 solid songs in it. It's about 95 minutes. And in addition, there's drumming that drives the dialogue all throughout. So the drummers are almost a part of the show. They drive the dialogue. They're like the heartbeat and the soul of the show. Without the drummers, it just wouldn't be the same. The drummers are an integral part of Skid Row. It is the primary instrument that people use on Skid Row to cope and to get through difficult times. So drumming is super important and a part of the Skid Row culture. People that are homeless on Skid Row do a lot of drumming. And so it's very representative. And so Ray Lewis and our other drummer is they're going to be on stage driving the dialogue throughout. Aside from the 7 songs that we've written, there are also tiny little pieces of music that have been composed to accentuate the dialogue. Now, all of the music absolutely drives the dialogue and drives the story. That's really important. And I think in a musical, that's what music should do, is it should drive the storyline, it's drive the dialogue. However, there are a lot of people, academics, who would argue and pick this apart, saying it's not really a musical because there's a lot of dialogue and storytelling. And yeah, and that's really important. I think creating stories and allowing people to decompress after a song and assimilate real human interaction is really important. And so if you really dissect it, it is a musical, but a lot of people will challenge and be probably really critical of the music because it is original. All of it is original music. So it's just kind of, people are definitely critical of music. And so I know there's going to be people that'll be very critical of it. However, the people that have been critical of it have really enjoyed it. So it's kind of funny how people in the stage readings gave the feedback of more music. Please give us more music. I'm like, oh, okay. So we went back and we started writing more music and after the stage readings. So I think the musical portion and the drumming, I mean, when you are in the Hudson Backstage Theatre, it is a very wide stage. And the stage almost connects with the seating. So it's almost like you're like in it, you know? And this play was designed to really be able to be put in any space, because reality is that people are homeless everywhere. They're homeless on street corners and in cars. And, so if you wanted to do this play outside, totally doable. If you wanted to do it in a small venue, totally doable. If you wanted to do a massive, large production with an orchestra, totally doable. But the notion is that the drumming is engaging because you can feel the beat, you can feel the rhythm, you can feel the vibration, and you can feel it physically driving the dialogue. So that's really kind of immersive. The music makes it very engaging and immersive because it's right there. We did a combination of canned and live. All the singing is live. There is canned music because typically music on Skid Row is canned unless it's basic instruments like guitar and drums. Because people don't have anywhere to plug things in most of the time unless you're at a facility. You don't have the ability to plug in a piano, and a piano is too heavy to carry. So typically on Skid Row, the main instruments are your voice and drums, and then people do carry around guitars. Lot of vocal singers on Skid Row, and then in downtown LA artist community, in their arts district, a lot of singers. And so what we did was, for the music, we just kind of canned the piano. And because there's not a lot of space to put a piano, but also because in reality, when you're homeless, you don't really have access to that most of the time. So we really wanted to make it practical. If it was a guitar piece, we'd play the guitar live. If it's vocals, we're going to sing live, because this is what people that are homeless do, right? This is how we live. So so they're going to notice a combination of canned music and live music. All of the singing is live. All the harmonies are live. The guitar is live. And that's the nature of kind of bringing people in and making people physically feel the music. And it's so up close and personal. It's very, if the Hudson Backstage Theatre is so up close and personal that, it's got brick walls. You can't really hear the sounds outside of the brick walls. So everything is like contained. And then the immersive part is, honestly, giving the audience lines and interaction in one of the scenes. And, we're trying to kind of allocate those lines, not just to people that want to participate in the play, but also people that are members of Skid Row. So we're going to invite members of Skid Row to come in that didn't get cast in the play, and we're going to give them lines and participate in the show. So there's a way of just kind of engaging people and giving people a voice. And then the nature of interacting with the audience, going up and down the aisles. People don't expect that fourth wall to be broken. And when I talk about the fourth wall, the imaginary thing that's going on in front of you versus reality with the audience, in everyday life. People don't necessarily always feel comfortable with that imaginary line being broken, the fourth wall. But when that fourth wall is broken, it's shocking. And that's what we're doing on purpose. We're breaking the rules on purpose because we want to engage people. So heads will turn a little bit and people will be like, what? What's going on? Wait a minute. You're not supposed to do that. And that's the point. That's the point. If you feel uncomfortable in the show, it's probably on purpose. If you're laughing in the show, it's probably okay. And if you feel like you're laughing at something inappropriate, it's probably okay because it is a comedy, right? We want people to laugh. We want people to feel in any sort of way based on the immersive experience that we're providing. Even when it's uncomfortable a little bit, we want people to engage because when people get engaged, they start to care and then they start to think. And so we kind of put in these mechanisms all throughout the play that I've learned from theater practitioners from all over the world, including Commonwealth countries. I've put in these mechanisms into the play that consistently have proved to engage people and sometimes shock people. But it's honestly, everything is very tasteful. If there is something that is done that's really edgy, it's for a reason. And it's designed to make you think and feel. And so people can expect that. People can expect to be surprised when they come to the show. Well, first of all, I want to make a disclaimer. I am not claiming to have all the answers, and I'm not claiming to address everything in an hour and a half show. There's no way I can. And this is why we have the talkbacks, is because if people want to know more, I'm happy to point them to resources. That's something that I can do. I can point people to resources. So after they see the show, my hope is that, number one, they'll enjoy the show so much that they'll basically leave the show and for the next few days, it will be buzzing in their brain. They'll be thinking about it off and on, and it'll move them enough to want to change the way they interact with people that are in poverty and in homelessness. I think the number one factor, obviously, is that we need, as a culture in the United States, this is automatic, it's built in. Even if you're a good person, honestly, it's built in. So it's hard to get out of this mentality that if you're poor, that you must have done something to deserve it. But if you're rich, you've done everything right, or you've done, for the most part, you've done things right in your life, and therefore you deserve it. We've got to get away from this mentality. This mentality has been going on for decades. The fact that we look at people that are less fortunate, we look down on them as if it's their fault. And the truth is that most people are born into it. And if you're not born into it, you'll easily get into it, because almost everybody in LA, the truth is one paycheck away from becoming homeless. And if you're in a situation where you're housing insecure, so easy to get into homelessness. And once you get into homelessness, it's hard to get out. Then you got to get back into housing insecurity. And then from housing insecurity, you got to get back into housing. And it's so easy to fall into that trap. And it's so hard to get out of it. So easy to fall in and hard to get out. It's like a big hole at a dump. It's hard to get out on your own. You need help. So this is what I would say. When you come and see this show, first and foremost, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you see that we've worked really hard to bring you an amazing show. We have every aspect of our show with the resources that we have is maximized. We've really designed the show in such a way that it's very meaningful. And we hope you really enjoy it. The second thing I would say is try to change the mindset into a more compassionate one. The next time you see somebody that's homeless and you have an opportunity, think of it as an opportunity. As long as it's safe, just go up to them and ask them how their day was, or ask them if you can buy them a drink. You don't have to give anybody money. You just have to basically figure out a way to uplift people in your community. That's a start. Changing the way you look at poverty and homelessness and people that are suffering is going to be a start. And then once we change the way we look at people that are less fortunate and just think of them as actual human beings rather than stepping over them, not caring if they're going to die or not, consider doing something in your community. I've got plenty of resources. I'm always happy to share resources, share information. There's plenty of organizations in your community that you can get involved in and make a difference, and you don't have to do much. If everybody just did something small, this problem would be over within a few years. It's very solvable. There's a lot of different factors that need to be involved, but one aspect is you as a person, as a citizen in your culture, changing the way you look at it. And so that's what I hope, is that I hope people leave the show just thinking about it off and on, and deciding that they want to shift the way they do business in their communities and start treating people like they're human beings again. They're not throwaways. These people, I know people that have been television stars that are currently in homelessness. You were watching them on TV. They're not worthless people. And that's the majority of people, is that the majority of people are really just suffering at the hands of a system that is not supportive. And we need, as human beings, as individuals, to all come together and acknowledge these people as human beings again and find ways to make their day better. The cool thing about this play, the really cool thing about this play is not just the diverse cast and the incredible talents that we have, the singing and the dancing and the story and the dialogue and the music, and the drummers. The drummers are like the heartbeat and the soul of the show. They're in a few scenes and they drive the dialogue. I mentioned all that. That's great. That's wonderful. That's part of the show. But, there's something interesting about using immersive theater that's not used a lot in Los Angeles and New York. Immersive theater is used, but it's not very common here in the United States. It's used a lot overseas in like Commonwealth countries like Canada and Australia and the UK and New Zealand, and but in the United States we lack a lot of theater that deals with social justice, but also immersiveness. And the cool thing about the show is it's very interactive. So you don't have to. When you come see the show, you don't have to participate. You can just be an observer. That's totally fine. But there will be people participating. And that's really interesting. And it surprises, right? So you're going to get it when you least expect it, when you don't know. And it's fun. So the cool thing about this show is that, it's not just fun and exciting and there's all these little elements that make it really cool and unique and different from any other show that you're going to see. Totally different, very engaging, 10-minute vignettes. You'll be engaged from beginning to end. But the performers and everybody working on the show, once they read the playbook and they see the music, honestly, every single person, every single one is like, wow, I'm really glad to be a part of the show. They're really excited about doing it. And it would be very difficult for me to convince somebody not to do it. Because once they get a hold of the material, they're like, I get it. I like this. I want to be a part of this. And that's what's exciting. So you're going to see that. The people involved in the show are just very excited to bring this to the stage because it's never been done before. It's never been done before. This is not a revival. This is brand new and original. And they're excited to bring it. More excited than me. And that's what's really cool, man, is that is that they're very happy to do this project, and you're going to see that on stage. It's like making food, you know? When you're a chef, there's nothing better when it's made and served with love. And that is what's cool about this show. My name is Thaddeus Nagey. I am the executive producer, playwright, and co-composer of Because It's Sunny in L.A., live at the Hudson Theatre from June 3rd to June 24th, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Our website is www.becauseit'ssunny.com. Tickets are on sale now, right now, and we are offering students, veterans, and senior discounts. I invite you to our wonderful show. It's going to be full of music and dancing and comedy. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It is very exciting. All the performers are so excited to see you at the show. Come by live at the Hudson. It is a live equity musical in Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard at the Hudson Theatre from June 3rd to June 24th. Come and see the show. And thank you so much. We'll be excited to see you there.